Hello, welcome to practice. For today's class, you might want a couple of yoga blocks and a blanket for your knees or your forehead. We're going to be breaking down some Sun Salutations today, and we're going to get started in a child's pose. So please come a little bit more towards the back of your mat. Now I'm going to grab a block to place a block under my forehead. You can really set up this child's pose however it feels best for you, but either way, big toes touching and knees about shoulder width apart if that feels okay. If you would prefer your knees to be wider so that you can rest your ribs kind of in between your belly, in between your thighs, you can do that. But if it feels okay, just rest your ribs on your thighs. Now your arms in child's pose can be forward out in front of you. They can be back by your sides. I like palms up when they're back by my sides. You can use your hands to support your forehead to make a little pillow with them. And if your forehead doesn't come to the ground, do support it with stacked hands, a towel, a yoga block or blanket, something. Come into your child's pose, and if your hips are way off your heels and you'd like to place a blanket over the backs of the shins, you can do that just to kind of give your bum a little extra cushion. We won't be here too long though. Allow the eyes to soften and to close as you settle in. Invite a slow, deep breath in through your nose. And take an open mouth clearing breath. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathe in, fill up your belly. Exhale fully. 1 more time. Inhale, fill up the belly, the ribs, all the way to the center of the chest. And then open your mouth and let it go. And now start to breathe in and out of the nose if it feels all right. As you bring your attention onto the breath, notice if it naturally just starts to slow down and lengthen, finding these steady inhales with steady exhales. And with your exhales, you might start to feel the pelvis tip backwards a little bit more. And with your inhales, just this sense of opening, of expanding into this moment. Stay for another cycle of breath. And then as you inhale, crawl your arms forward in front of you. So we'll stay in child's pose, but walk your hands as far forward as you can. So far forward that you'll start to feel your forearms and your elbows lift off the mat. Your forehead can be on a block. If your head is lifted off the floor, that's also not a problem. This is called an extended child's pose. It's a pretty active child's pose. Now just for a moment, look up at your hands and make sure they're really shoulder width apart with the creases of your wrists parallel to the top of the mat, and then relax the head so it's between your upper arms. Walk your hands forward a little more as you breathe in. Stay to exhale, melt your hips back towards the heels so you're getting this big stretch from your fingers to your shoulders to your hips. And now from here, bring your attention to your upper arms and try to spin your inner upper arms up towards the ceiling and wrap your outer arms down towards the ground. And most likely as you did that, your thumb and your index finger just peeled off the ground. So I want you to try to do those actions of the arms, but also press into your thumb and index finger. I know it's hard to do both. That's actually the point. Press down through your thumb and index fingers as you spin your inner arms, inner shoulders up, and squeeze your outer arms down. That's going to engage the triceps. And this is what you feel in down dog. Now keep your hands exactly where they are. Don't move them at all. Don't move your knees at all. Lift your hips. You're in a very long tabletop. Separate your feet to about hip bone distance apart. Tuck your toes under and pause. Find those same arm and hand actions. Spin your inner upper arms forward. Wrap your outer upper arms back. Do that as you press into your thumb and index finger. Push the floor away from you so your arms are straight, your shoulders are spreading across the back, and then with your next inhale, float your knees off the mat. Take another breath here. Now start to bend the knees, push the hips back and up, press your chest to your thighs, down dog. Relax your head between your upper arms. Don't move your hands or feet at all. Do make sure your feet are parallel, so the inside of your feet are parallel, meaning your heels are going to be hidden behind you. Relax your head, your eyes, your jaw, and then find those same arm and hand actions. Spin your inner upper arms forward, wrap your outer upper arms back. Do that as you press into your thumb and index finger. Keep a little bend in your knees so that you can send the hips higher so that your spine is not rounding. If you're able to straighten the legs any amount without causing the low back to round, you can straighten your legs. But if straightening your legs causes your low back to round, that means you need to keep a bend in the knees. Take another breath in. And then slowly start to walk your feet to your hands. And if they don't make it all the way there, just walk your hands back. You can move the block to the side. Bring your hands to your hips. A little bend in the knees. Lead with the chest. Come all the way to stand. Okay. Arms by your sides. Find your mountain pose at the top of your mat. Feet about hip distance apart. Inside of your feet parallel. Turn the palms forward. Draw your shoulders back and down. Hug the front ribs in. We're going to start with a few sun breaths and just kind of build onto that so that we can start to link some movements with the breaths. And then we'll take a few Sun Salutations. As you inhale, sweep your arms out and up. And exhale, lower your arms down by your sides. So just getting into the shoulders, the arms, the upper back. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Try not to puff out your front ribs as you do this, but draw them in. Exhale, arms by the sides. A few more. Inhale the whole time your arms go up. Try not to exhale until your arms start to lower. Inhale, arms up. Can you keep everything else in your body still, especially your spine? Exhale, lower. Let's do one more. If you want to lift the gaze, add the neck, do so. Inhale, reach the arms up, maybe look up only if it feels okay for the neck. Exhale, arms by the sides. Bring the gaze back forward. And then bring your hands to your hips. Take a little bend in your knees. Take a breath in. Try to keep your spine as it is. As you exhale, fold about halfway. Lift the front ribs away from the floor. Try not to look forward, but drop the gaze slightly so the back of the neck is long. And then inhale, stand back up. So all we're going to work on right now is hinging at the hips, learning how to fold forward while keeping the spine pretty steady so that we're not hinging at the waist like this, but so that we learn to find the hinge at the hip crease. Breathe in, little bend in the knees. Your spine stays still. You can even bring a hand to the low back, a hand to the ribs if you like. Exhale, fold halfway. And then lead with the chest. Inhale, come back up to stand. Exhale, fold about halfway. Your hips will move back. Feel the hip crease. Inhale, come to stand. One more time. Hinge at the hips. Exhale, fold halfway. Lead with the chest. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Okay, so what we just did was we added some arm movements. We talked about hinging at the hips very briefly, and now we're going to do a half sun salutation where we reach the arms up, we fold, and then we'll come back up. So right now, just kind of focusing more on the upper body. Mountain pose, feet about hip distance apart, palms forward. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Now as you exhale, bend your knees a little bit, arms tee out to the side, hinge at your hips, fold all the way down this time. Relax your head at the bottom. Halfway lift, bring your hands to your shins, reach the chest forward, slide your shoulders away from the ears, and then fold in again. Now to come up to stand, start to reach your arms out and up, lead with the chest. Can you keep your spine still? Hinge at the hips, come up, reach the arms up. And then exhale, arms by the sides. So let's do that again and not even worry about the breath. Reach the arms out and up. Keep your front ribs in. Little bend in the knees. It might help. Fold forward. Hinge at the hips. Arms down. Relax the head. Hands at your shins. Chest forward. Slide the shoulders back. Fold in again. Relax the head. Reach your arms out and up. Try not to roll up, but lead with the chest. Arms to the sky, arms by the sides. Again, reach the arms out and up. Maybe look up if it feels okay. Arms out to the sides, fold forward, hinge at the hips, bending your knees helps that happen. Hands to shins, chest forward, shoulders back, back of the neck is long, don't look up, keep the gaze down. Fold in again. 2, come to stand, lead with the chest, arms out to the side, reach the arms high. Exhale, arms by the sides. Let's do it again, but now I'm gonna add the breath. Your breath doesn't have to be perfect with the movements, really just trying to start to understand how we eventually link the movements with the breath. Find your mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms out and up, maybe look up. Little bend in the knees, exhale, fold forward. Relax the head. Hands to shins, inhale, chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, fold in again. Inhale, come all the way to stand, reach your arms up, maybe look up. Exhale, arms by the sides, mountain pose. Step to the top of your mat. So what we just did was some sun breaths. That's just the breath with the arms. We did a half sun salutation just now, folding forward, coming back up. And now we're going to take a few classical sun salutation. This is the sun A salutation. There's sun A's, sun B's, sun C's even. And the sun A is the most common one. It's what I teach in a lot of my flow classes. So we're going to come through it a few times. The first couple, very slowly breaking it down. Come to mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Maybe look up. Exhale, fold. Maybe a little bend in the knees. Hinge at your hips, not the waist. Chest forward, hands to shins, slide the shoulders back, breathe in. Now exhale, bring your hands to the ground. You might need to bend your knees. Step your left leg back, runner's lunge. Plant your hands, step your right leg back, plank. Drop to your knees and point your toes. Make sure your knees are behind the hips, not under them. Round your spine like a cat, tilt the pelvis backwards, and then reach your chest forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower the pelvis, then the belly, then the chest. Stretch the legs long and back. Inhale, lift your head, chest, shoulders, low cobra. Make your hands light so they're just grazing over the mat. Squeeze your elbows in to roll the shoulders away from the floor. Drop the chin slightly back of the neck long. Take another cycle of breath. And then inhale, push up onto all fours, tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Come to down dog. Make sure your hands are shoulder width apart, wrist creases parallel to the top of the mat. As you come into down dog, make sure your feet are hip distance apart, inner heels hidden behind you. Is your spine rounding? If so, bend your knees and then push the hips up and back. Down dog, we're trying to make more of you can think of a V shape, not a plank. So not shoulders over the wrists, but hips up and back. Take one more inhale, lift your heels. Now exhale, step your right foot as far forward as you can, and then your left foot forward. Hands to shins, inhale, chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms out and up, lead with the chest. Exhale, arms by the sides, back to mountain. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach your arms out and up, draw the front ribs in. Exhale, fold, maybe a little bend in the knees. Hands to shins, inhale, chest forward. Plant your hands, step the right leg back, and then the left as you exhale, plank pose. Drop to your knees, point your toes. Tilt your pelvis backwards. Reach the heart forward. Notice I'm not here in a back bend. I'm not sinking into my low back, but hips are up, tailbone heavy, chest forward, shoulders away from the ears. Breathe in. Exhale, lower pelvis, belly, chest. Stretch the legs long and back. Inhale, lift head, chest, shoulders. This is low cobra. The way I teach low cobra is with hands very light, just grazing over the mat to build upper back strength. Can you press into your feet, every toenail, even your pinky toenails? Lift the kneecaps. One more breath. And now stay to exhale, hands down. Inhale, push up onto all fours. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Hands shoulder width apart. Wrist creases parallel to the top of the mat. Feet hip distance apart, inner heels hidden behind you. Relax the head. Push the hips up and back. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, step your left foot as far forward as you can, and then the right foot forward. Hands to shins, chest forward at the top. Exhale, fold. Come all the way to stand, reach your arms out and up, lead with the chest. And exhale, arms by the sides, mountain pose. Take a deep breath in here, a deep breath out. We're gonna run through those Sun A's 2 more times. I know they're pretty energizing. I know I gave a lot of instruction. Don't expect to grasp it all right now. It's a lot to take in. It'll take you quite some time to understand it all. It's more about practicing, and eventually you just feel things in your body and you're like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Now I finally feel it in my body, but it takes practice. You can't just do it once, so don't overthink it. That's my point. Find your mountain pose. We're going to do 2 more Sun A's. I'm going to be a little less chatty, and we're just going to focus on breathing and moving the body, not being perfect, just being present. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, fold, maybe a little bend in the knees. Hands to shins, inhale, chest forward, shoulders back. Plant your hands, step your left leg back, right leg back, plank. Option to keep your knees up this time or lower them to the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down. Point the toes. Slide your hands back so elbows are over your wrist. Now this time we're going to take an up dog. So elbows have to be over the wrist, not hands under the shoulders. Press down through your feet and your hands. Come to up dog. Now pull your chest forward, slide the shoulders back. Lift your thighs, nothing on the ground but hands and feet. 1 more breath in. Drop to your knees, tuck your toes under. Downward facing dog. Relax the head and neck. Come back to that steady breath in and out of the nose. 1 more inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Remember, you can always walk your hands back if your feet don't make it there. Hands to shins, inhale, chest forward at the top. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, arms by your sides, mountain pose. 1 more time. Inhale, sweep the arms up, maybe look up. Exhale, fold, hinge at the hips. Hands to shins, inhale, chest forward. Plant your hands, step the right leg back, and then the left plank. Option to keep your knees up or lower them to the floor. Take a breath in. Lower to the belly. Point your toes. Slide the hands back, elbows over the wrists. Make a 90-degree angle with your arms. Squeeze the elbows in, roll the shoulders back. Feel free to stick with low cobra if that feels better for the low back, or take an up dog. In up dog, make sure shoulders are over the wrist. Adjust your feet if you need to. Lift your thighs, take a deep breath in, look straight forward. Drop to your knees, downward facing dog. Relax the head and neck, the eyes, the jaw. Take a full breath in, and then as you exhale, drop to your knees. Come to a tabletop. Point the toes, knees right over or knees under the hips. Keep your hips over your knees. Crawl your arms as far forward as you can. This is called puppy pose anahatasana. Your forehead may or may not come to the ground, just to give your shoulders a little stretch. Allow the chest to melt down. Lift the front ribs away from the floor. Take a breath here. And then exhale, sit back on your heels, come to a child's pose, maybe supporting the forehead with hands, a block. And then just notice how this shape feels. We took it at the very beginning of class. Notice if your body feels any different. Are there any qualities that feel different in the body? Any new qualities? Maybe your body feels a little more open, maybe a little warmer, maybe a little less tense, maybe a little bit tired. And these are all things that are present in the body. Try not to judge what's present or even feel the need to analyze, but just notice. And then take a deep breath in through the nose. And then open your mouth, let it go. Roll up. So you're sitting back on your heels. If you prefer to sit up onto a block, go for it. And then from here, just inhale, reach the arms out and up. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. Lift the center of your chest up into your thumbs. Draw the shoulders down and back. Keep this lift in your chest, lower the chin. Bringing gratitude towards your body, towards each other, and towards this practice. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Om Shanti. Peace.